Guys, we have a problem. Greetings everyone, Rigil Agateiades here, and I am sad to say that we are on a losing streak. Because of that, I decided today, instead of our usual dueling videos, we will have our own emergency meeting. This is today's goals of the meeting. We have to analyze our opponents, list their weak points, and then make adjustments according to that. So let's have a look at what opponents' decks we have. First off, let's draw a pie chart. We can just group them into 4 main groups. The first group being Branded, second group being Sky Strikers, the third is Labyrinth, and the last is Sword Souls. These are the main decks that we're facing right now and the ones that I'm losing the most to. What we can do now is to analyze each of these decks in detail. So first of all, Branded. What they do the most nowadays is one Ice Jade, and then a monster that's either Ra's Disciple or the whatever Edo Dragon that is, to prevent you from summoning everything. And Ice Jade as a problem is one Banish, and then a clear field at the end phase. Edo and Ra just prevent summoning at all. Do they have a choke point? They do have a choke point in Branded Fusion, but we can't stop it with Ursarctic for at the moment. Another choke point is Lumilian or Lubarian, well, our just Searing Dragon, the one that shuffles Banish. That one can dodge Megabilis. Before, we could use Megabilis on Branded Fusion, and then when they summon Albion, we can banish the Fallen of Albaz to stop their entire combo. But now we cannot do that, because the Searing Dragon can shuffle banished cards as well as fusion material. That goes into Ice Jade and Ra's Disciple, etc. And they also dodge Nib. So what we cannot do, we cannot nib them. We cannot stop their combo from happening entirely. What people do usually is Ash and Imperm. Megapolar would work against the trap, but that does not help it against the banish, so we'll put that in half. Megapolar and Megabilis. They can prevent the Ra's Disciple part. Okay, Sky Strikers. Problem is, engage. They keep gaining cards every turn. And Ray comes back every turn. They slowly grind you out. When we think about it, Sky Strikers, they don't have a level, so usually you can Septentrion. But they dodge Septentrion because most of the time, if they have engage, they can just afterburner it. That's a 3 cards to 1 card, so we lose the trade tremendously. But I should add partially. Yeah. And then, oh yes, Kaiser Coliseum. Main issue being that they gain too much card advantage. Card add. So what we want to do is to target the Ray, probably, and find a way to deal with Kaiser Coliseum. So what we cannot do is Nib. What we cannot do is Maxi. These are the ones that we're using that is not useful against them. What we can do, however, is True King. Barastos puts a lot of work against them. It stops the Widow, and whatever there is, because it banishes, even from the grave. So banish from graveyard, that's also good. So he's definitely what we're keeping against them. And then Phantasme is also good. The Phantasme doesn't happen in any of the other matchup, so currently it's not looking that great for Nib. And in fact, out of the 10 matches that I've played recently, I think I resolved Nib twice, and one of them didn't even stop them at all. So I'm considering taking Nib out, even though he can be just a tribute fodder for the Ursarctics. So after Sky Strikers, what do we have? Labyrinth. They have the lady. The lady itself isn't that bad. But then you have the Welcome Labyrinth, and then the Field Spell. I should mention first that True King puts in a lot of work against this deck as well. We don't know what back row they usually set because it's not face up and they can search it. It doesn't target. They can't just chain whatever they want to dodge it. True King is definitely a must in there. What else do we want to put in there? Alpha is big enough to go over the lady easily. Ah yes, Alpha is ridiculously good against Mirror Jade. Because it bounces to the deck, Mirror Jade cannot activate this effect to clear the field in the end phase. Big monster, yes, they should have an issue going over larger monsters. They don't target, but they destroy only. What doesn't work on them is Nib. I'm sorry Nib, you're not doing very well here. Phantasme also doesn't work. Phantasme doesn't work with the branded stuff as well. Oh, Maxi also doesn't work, because you will be just upstarting all day. And then Sword Souls. Problem. They lose nothing. When they finish their combo, they will usually have the same amount of cards they start off in the hand. Moyi just draws herself the cards, and then Baron and Cheng Ying. So what are their weak points? This is the thing about Sword Souls, they are ridiculously strong, not because they do a lot, but the fact that there's no weak points in their deck. You can try to stop Moyi, which we can do with a Mega Tennis, but that's it. I tried to use Nib against them, but it turns out they have a trick where they end their turn on a Chi Shao, press end phase, and then you will have to Nib them. Otherwise you just waste your Nib. You won't do all your turn, build your board and then Nib yourself. But then after you Nib them, they finally use the long one that they searched and then build the Baron board anyways. So no Nib. Imperm does, Max C does, kind of. Oh right, I should say Kaijus. Kaijus are kind of mid against brandeds. They are good against Sky Strikers, and Labyrinth, they are not great against them. So now that we have listed a bunch of weak points, we have to make our adjustments. So first of all, what we want to remove, definitely, is Nib. He's not doing enough. A lot of the time when you draw Nib, it doesn't help you in any way. We won't put Ash in. Maxi is kind of iffy. Most of the time he's an upstart. One of the things we want to do is avoid the common cards that everyone else plays. What everyone plays now: Ash, Max C, Imperm, and then Caught by the Grave, and Crossout. Or I'll just say / Crossout. Everyone does it because they are playing the hand trap game. But right now in our Ursarctic decks, we can actually, if we have Radiation, we can dodge Ash. We can't run from Maxi no matter what. Also, we can't run from Imperm. But we can completely ignore, in fact, Caught by the Grave and Crossout. If we play Ash and Maxi, then we will add a weak point to ourselves against Caught by. If we don't put them in, then they will have a set Caught by or Crossout on the field that does nothing, and that's a natural -1 advantage to them. True King, he's doing a lot of hard work against almost any opponent that has back row. He's our skill drain out. He doesn't target, and he doesn't destroy. These are really important nowadays because of how runics are, but I suppose in our rank we don't have any runic players yet. So less important, but the fact that he's just a better Twin Twister makes him worth. We want to put in our third alpha. He can just run over a lot of things. Big. Yes. He returns to the hand and can be used as cost. He's not returning as cost, but returns to be cost. And then we have the Kaijus. It works really well against Cheng Ying, so that's a plus, and also Baron. And it's fine against branded, so let's say they are okay. It's easy to solve problems with them. And unlike the cards that we are trying to remove up here, they can also be used as cost. And as a small bear, because they're level 7 especially, the two that I'm considering are Radiant and Humongous. Let's get on and see what we can change. Okay, so here is the new deck. It is a rather drastic change from all the Maxi and Nibiru's, and instead we have to put in the maximum amount of Kaijus we can think of. While we said Imperm is good, I did not want to have, well, once again, it's the same problem with all the spells. It is not something I can use. Well, actually it is something I can use on the opponent's turn on itself. But it will break if I go into a top deck war. So I will put in 1 Imperm for now, and try it out. Kaijus themselves can act like a small bear if we have 2 of them. That's why I'm putting a maximum number of them in. It also works really well with Alpha here. So yeah, I don't think we will be playing ranked this weekend, because the new event has started. Oh, I haven't taken out Nib out of this one. The new event has started, and it will be a good time for us to test out our new theory on our deck. So stay tuned.